this is not where it's going to live right now, but eventually you're going to go to the Ocarber Kit's starter kit v for Eleventy. And all you're going to have to do is just go to code, and you can do whatever you want, SSH, HTTPS. This is, I think this is, I have access to this on my Visual Studio, so I'm just going to copy this. And we're going to go to Visual Studio here, clone repository. We're going to pick that one, and I am going to save it to the desktop. And we're going to go here. So it's going. Would you like to open it? Yes, I would. And here it is. So the first thing you're going to have to do is, if you're on a PC, it's Control Tick. It's like that tilde little weird apostrophe thing by the number 1. That's going to open up your terminal. And what we need to do is we need to do npm install. There we go. We got our node modules. You can't really throw those in GitHub because it's just so gosh darn big. And then we're going to do npm start, and that's it. So when we do that, it's gonna kick everything off. All of the templates are already done. The templating engine is already building everything. So we're just gonna hit Control so that we can click this, and we're gonna open this up in a new tab. It's over here, and here it is. That's it. Now you have all of this. I'm gonna undo that. So once you open this up in your local host, you just there's your blog, there's everything else. So what happens underneath, so we can go ahead and drop this. Let's open everything up. So you'll notice over here on the left, this file tree, this directory is a little different than what I'm used to doing, where I just have my index in the root document, and I have different folders, etc. This is how it needs to be set up. So we have our Eleventy, get ignore packages are right here. Everything lives in the source. You don't need to touch public. You don't need to touch nodes. This is where everything is. You don't even need to touch admin, and the rest of this is pretty self-explanatory. So we got in the source file, we're going to treat that as our root directory. So the source file is our root directory. So we have our index here, which is our regular, home page. And you'll notice some different weird syntax here. Like, this is scaring me. Like, don't worry, this is not that bad. I'll explain all this. But all of your pages will be in here. So the blog page, you're going to keep this. If you want to use this and add your own pages or remove these and put your own, remove these, but keep the blog. You're going to need it. And then all of your CSS goes here, where I have all my less files. And the blog, this is where your blogs go. They're written in Markdown. We're going to go over how this works. Blog.json, forget about it. We already set it up for you. Just leave it alone. Assets, this has your JS, your images, fonts, and your fav and admin is where we have our config.yaml. So this right here is what talks to Netlify and tells it which inputs your CMS can have. So if you remember, we have the page name with dashes only, and that's called page name, and its widget is a string. You can read these are all in the documentation for Netlify, and it's very well done. So like blog title, its name is blog title. So if we go to let's bring it back up. This one, yeah. So if we new blog, so page name with dashes only, blog title, title tag, you'll notice that that's what these are. This is the name that shows up in the CMS. This is the name, and this is how we target it in the code. And this widget basically says what type of input box we're going to have. These are all taking string. The date one takes a date time. The tags take a list, and the default is post. So that's why post is there by default, right here. This is why post is there by default. And then featured image is image, and you kind of get the whole spiel here. But this is in a collections. So this is the blog collection, and you can have multiple ones. And I'm going to do a separate video on that. But this is all just the blog. So that's just what this config.yaml is. The only thing that you need to do with this is this logo URL. When you log in, this logo will show up briefly and above the login. So like if I come in here, well, let's just go back. Starter kit v4. There it is. See, it shows up briefly. That is what that is. So that's this, and it has to be a link. It can't be an image tag. It can't be. It has to be a link. So what you do is you just go to your website, and God, I gotta clean up my tabs. And please ignore my computer. I'm lazy right now. So if we wanted to grab it, I want to get the blue one. Where's the blue one? There it is. So I'll inspect. We're gonna get you here. If you host with Netlify, they're all hosted on a CDN. And if we hover over the image and get this current source, that's the link that it will be on. And I'm on localhost right now, but when you're on the actual Netlify, this will be a CD, like a Cloudflare link or whatever. And you just copy and paste that, and you put that right here, and that's all that is. That's the only thing you need to look in this file for. Otherwise, ignore it. It includes, this is where we have our repeated code. These are our templates. So we have this for our header. This is where your entire navigation goes. That will be on all pages. Same with the footer. This is the footer that will be shared on all pages. This is the featured post section, which will be featured on all blog template pages. And this is the base, which is what, this is like the base HTML file. That every page will share this base file, and we'll use the templating language to insert things. So I'm going to do my best to explain how the hell this works. But so we got our base here, and when we want to use, I guess I'll call them variables. So if we let's go to the page here. Let's go to our about page. You remember this? This is called front matter. So we're basically, we're creating a little variable, right? So description, meta title, page title, right? These will be reused. So we are saying layout, use base.html as the layout for this page. And for canonical, use this link. So we'll put our link here. If we go to base, actually I think canonical I set up anyway as file.pageslug, so we don't even need that. I just got to update that, so we'll just forget that. Basically with this, like page.fileslug means that whatever the the slashes, if this is slash about, then that's the file slug. That's just what it's called, and it will pull that, and it'll be like, all right, let's grab about and throw it here, and then when it compiles, it'll be yourwebsite.com/about. So it's pulling the file slug and inserting it here on all pages. So that's done. Description. So if we go to about, description would be meta description for this page. So when we open up the about page, this is what will be right here. And it's the same thing for meta title. So every page, when we look at contact page, projects, even index.html, they all have this front matter, which basically it's replacing all of this, right? Instead of having all of this crazy nonsense, we have this in our base HTML, right? And we're pulling it. We're saying, okay, this page will load everything from base HTML. That's the layout. And then for all of these variables that are inside of it, we're saying, all right, put these inside of those variables. Like the title tag title, that's what this is. So we just put it at the top here, and it loads the base HTML, and it just finds its little variables and inserts itself. And that's the best way I can explain it. So the header and the footer, this is the main content. This is what, the actual everything on the about page that's unique to the about page goes in here. I even have this little thing here that says enter HTML code below here. So everything that's supposed to be on the about page minus the header and the footer goes here. And that's what I have. I just have my side by side, my call to action, and that's it. That's all you need, because what's happening with this base, this about page is loading with all of this, and then it's saying, okay, so we have our main content here, and you need this content safe. You need this for it to work. I can't explain it, but you need this to work. But it loads in the content in between this main tag, and then above the main tag, include the header, which is this. So this will be on top, and it says below the main tag, base, and below the main, insert the footer. So that's you can see how this page gets built, statically by this little system. Instead of having to use React or whatever, we use this to tell it to include our little files here, and it does it. And every page will have, these are our JavaScript files for navigation and dark. So every page is going to have this, because every page is using this base file, and we're just inserting everything into it. And I also have my my scroll listener, so that when you scroll down, the nav on a desktop, the nav drops down with a background. And you notice up here we have these things. This is how it's I think it's called a Nenjux block. So on your website, on your pages, like the about page, it's going to have to load its own CSS file. All right? You don't want to put all of your CSS files on one file to be loaded on all pages. So that's what's up here. This is a block. Let's just ignore this right now. Let's get rid of that and assume that this is like an HTML thing where you have an opening and a closing. See, ending. We're ending the block. So this block is called page CSS. And forget this syntax. This is just what Nenjux does, and Nenjux is a templating language. So I said I want this block is unique to this page, and I want to insert this link tag as the page CSS. Think of that as a variable. So when it loads the base right here, it's going to load page CSS. So this is how we call it. So it's loading that page CSS. So now when this loads, the about.css is going to go here, and it's the same thing for all pages, basically. So we have our contact page. Well, it's also going to have a page CSS block that will be inserting the contact. And we're also inserting the preload tag. So every page will have an image at the top, like the interior page image. Let's look back at this guy here. So like we're preloading the landing image here so that it loads faster. And we go to About Us, we have this here that's also above the fold. So we want to preload that. It's a pretty big asset. And we want to preload all of these on every page. And that's what's happening here, is this preload tag. So on contact, I want to load whatever that image is. And when we open up the base, that's what's going to go here. This preload is like a variable. It's pulling from this block called preload, and it's saying, all right, put this where that variable is on base. And that's why we have this and this. So this is to add our little preload tag for any images that we have on that page, and this is where we insert the page specific CSS. So every page is going to have a root.css and a dark. This is just the core styles, and this is the dark style. So every page is going to have this. So we just put this on base for everyone to share. They're all using this page, and then we're just inserting the rest of it inside of it. So like every page, it's going to have the same fav icons. It's going to have the same social media displays. The description is just going to pull from the little variable up here. That's it. So whenever we do a new page, this is literally all we have to do. We just copy and paste this block as a new page, and then we add our HTML below it, and we link our CSS here, and it's done. We don't have to do anything else. And I hope that makes sense, because I'm just getting introduced to this. I'm learning this. I think this is like the first week after I've learned how to put this together. And I worked with another dev to do this. He showed me the ropes. So that's, in a nutshell, what is happening in this this build kit. It's built with a static site generator, so that we could take advantage of not repeating ourselves, so that we can include the header, include the footer, and then we just insert our main content here from these pages. So let's oh yeah, I also forgot the permalink. This is what the slug will be, basically. So this is the about page. If we wanted it to be about us, well, we just say about us. And there's always this slash at the end, not behind it, at the end. This is what the page name will be. So don't forget that, and don't mess that up. So let me just let's create a page just so you see what's going on. Like if I wanted to create, I'm gonna copy and paste this into new. I'm gonna save, and we're pulling from base, and let's just call this test page. And below here, let's just grab what's the CSS we have, about. So let's just grab something from the about. Let's just grab these. So we're going to grab this HTML, and we're going to put it below this line, and that's it. It's going to be pulling from about CSS, and this is its slug name. So we're going to save, and it's going to be in our pages, and it's going to be test. So that's test, matches our slug, and we'll change the metadata to whatever we want. And let's see, so we got this, and it's working. So if I go to local reviews, if I go to test, there it is. It loaded with the header. It's got everything inside of it, and we just didn't add that little section at the bottom. So let's just do that for some giggles. Let's add this call to action section, right? So here's test. We want to add it at the bottom. There it is. Save, and there it is. That is that's all you do, and this is all taken care of for you. So, and there's another thing I want to go over with is how to do active states for navigation. So like when we're on About Us, how does it know to do that and stay there, right? So we're going to do that. Now let's just get this. Let's remove this because we don't need you no more. Get out of here. I'm done. When we go into the header, you'll notice that I got these guys. This is another thing with nunchucks. So this is how this works. Essentially, this is saying class equals active. Now this is the class. When gosh, I should just leave this up. So when this A tag has a class of active, it has some styles to make this little pseudo element grow. But you see, class active, that's the class. So when we go here, when active, so we're saying class equals active, so add this class if this text equals page slug. We leave this blank for the home page, and that's how that would just leave it blank for the home page. But for the about page, you want to make sure that this matches here. So if this string about is equal to the whatever the file slug is, which is the slash page, then add the active class. And it's the same deal. Like this is the projects. This is the file slug. Projects is the file slug. So this is saying add the class of active if this string projects equals the same thing as the file slug, which is projects. So, if this text matches whatever the slug is, add a class of active. And that's what's happening. So when we're going to hear about us, the slug is about. So that's the file slug, and it matches whatever we said as the condition. Like, okay, it's a string, so this matches the file slug. Well, now it's going to have a class of active on it, and there's the active class. So that's how you manage active states with a static site generator on navigations. It's not that bad once you get used to it, and I really had to get used to it. So, but this is essentially how it works. So when you copy and paste your own navigation in here, all you really just grab this, just copy it, and just put it over off to the side for a while, and then add your new header, and then wherever you have the active class, if it's on the li or if it's on the a, whatever your css is, put this where it's supposed to be, where it's supposed to have the active class, and just grab this, copy and paste it, and and put it where it needs to be. Remove the string for the home page. Basically it says if there is no file slug extension, then add the active class on the home page, because the home page, if we look at home, look at it, see, this is about. Well, if it doesn't have any, that means nothing. If it has nothing, then add a class of active, and this has a class of active on it now. So that's what that's saying. That's why it's blank. But yeah, just put this in a separate file, save it to copy and paste and plop it back in here, and then you're done. That's it. So we're gonna delete that. We don't need that. And our blog. So when we're doing the blog, it takes it in Markdown format. So when we create it in the Netlify CMS, you just type. You can copy and paste directly from a Word document in the rich text editor, and then it'll just convert it to Markdown for you, and it will. Every new blog post will be in here as a Markdown file. So, and you'll notice, we got the page name, right? So these are all. You remember that YAML right here? Split right. Remember that stuff? Come back here. So we got our page name. The Netlify CMS will do this for us. So it'll say, okay, page name is blog template. Blog title is whatever they put it in. The title tag is whatever they put it in. The blog description is whatever they said. The author is whoever. The date is this. The tags right here are post and featured. The image for the caption is here, and the alt text for the main image is here. It's taking all of this and it just puts it in the front matter, but in Markdown, and that's how that works. So if you need to edit any of this, like if you're bringing over some blogs from a website that you're trying to move into this, that's what you would do. You'd create a Markdown file for that blog. So let's say, like when I did this for local solar, I had like 4 blogs to move over, and what I did was, well, I took this, I copy and pasted it into a new Markdown file, and I saved it as its name and put its name up here. So let's say cost of solar panels. I'd save it as cost of solar panels and put the name cost of solar panels with dashes, and then I would convert the text with Markdown, and well, I'll do that in a separate video where I'm going to do a separate video dedicated just to migrating a regular HTML and CSS website into this and making it work within like 15 minutes. Um, so I'm just explaining what we're gonna what we would do, and then you just put all your Markdown file here to add that blog post. But when we add a blog post in Netlify, it comes down here at this as the title, and it's in Markdown format, and it has all of these variables that they input as front matter. So that's what's happening here. And see, I'm gonna close that. We don't need that. And then for the new page template, this is just for like regular pages that go in here. So let's say we added maybe a services page. We would just copy and paste this, right? This is the front matter with the blocks and everything and the little code for the thing below. You just take this, copy and paste, new, paste, save, and again, use services. If I can spell right, services, right? And then we just start, coding as we normally would. And when we save, it will live compile. And I use less, so make sure you have your less compiler going. So you can also do there's like less compilers extensions for VS Studio. I just use Koala, and I just manually do it. I could never figure out the extensions and getting them to work. Somehow I figured this out, so go figure. Um, so that's that's it. If you want to add a new page, you just grab this, make a new page with it. Set your you don't need to set your canonical link. I got to update this. So yeah, the updated version will be cleaned up a little bit from this one because it looks like I don't need it anymore. But all you got to do is put your meta tag description, your mega title, and your tag title, and whatever the page name is. So if this is services, this better be services, or else you're going to get errors. And if you don't have this slash, you're going to get errors. And one thing to keep note on, we got to watch out this description. But let's say we add an apostrophe s. I'm going to bring this up because I'm pretty sure we're going to get an error. Save. Okay, wow. Okay, good day. If you get an error that says like it inadvertently jumping 2 lines or whatever, that might happen because we have single quotes and we're using a single quote for an apostrophe, and it thinks it's doing 2 separate lines. But looks like it's being smart today because I ran into this problem earlier and I spent about 2 hours figuring out what the heck's going on. And then my buddy figured it out. So if you run into that issue, you can also use double quotes so that you can use apostrophe on the inside of the description. So that's just a workaround. If you run into that issue, that's why. I'm just telling you because it killed me for a little bit. And I figured I'd better mention it here. So, that's it. I hope, that's a very, cursory, glance in a nutshell how this works. Because I'm only telling you what you need to know to make this work. You don't need to know literally everything. This video would be 2 hours long. So in order to, edit this content, you don't need to touch this. You don't need to touch this. And you do touch this because you need to put everything in here that should be on all your pages. Like all of my fonts, my fav icons, social stuff, everything that needs to be shared on every single page goes here, and you just fill it in as you need. So and these variables pull from the front matter that's at the top here, so they load the base. These variables populate into all of these little variables here, and the world goes around. So that's it. You don't need to touch these. Don't need to touch this. Leave that there. If you don't want to have the event listener for the slide down, like see how it's like see through here. It's transparent. Well, when we slide, it's doing that. That's what that does. If you don't want that, just get rid of it. Then you add your scripts that you need on every page, and then you're done with this. You're done. Just fill all these in of what they should be on every page, and you're done. Fill in your footer, and you're done. Fill in your header, and make sure you have your active states, and you're done. And that you don't need to you don't need to touch this config YAML. You don't need to touch this except for to add your logo link. Okay, and everything else, just don't touch it. Like this Eleventy JS, this kind of makes things happen. These are pass-throughs. So if you create another folder inside of here, this needs to be able to access it. So this is, include CSS, images, and CMS admin files to the public. Without this, only HTML will make it to the public. So, if we don't do this, then the CSS, the assets, and the admin, none of this will be passed through to the static site generator. So that's what these pass-throughs are. So if you add a new folder inside of source, you need to copy and paste this, right? And let's say we made a new folder for I don't know, right? Well, its source is where it's inside of here, and it's I don't know. So we have to pass that through so that it can have access to whatever's in that folder. That's the only thing you touch here. Otherwise, don't touch it. And this is important. When you see public, when we go to the video where we show you how to make a site with this, and or how to convert a site into this, we're going to show you exactly how to connect it with Netlify. And when you it might be familiar if you go to Netlify and you import an existing project from GitHub, and it opens it up, and then at the bottom there's going to be a little like source directory, and a lot of times it just says like underscore site. We need to change that to public, and that's where this is coming from, public. So otherwise, don't touch anything. Don't touch this. I'm just going to save this. Don't touch that. Don't touch this. You don't need to touch that. And blog template. When you do make your site, you want to remove this because this is going to show up. Like if we go over here, when we go to blog, it's going to pull that because it is technically a blog post when we open it up. So when you do get your first blog post, this is just the template. Like if you have to convert any blogs over. Otherwise, you don't need to touch this. You just need to delete it and get rid of it if you're starting a new project from scratch. Because otherwise, Netlify and Eleventy will build this for you when you add your blog post. So don't touch this. Don't touch this unless you're importing things. And you also just delete this if you're starting new. And don't touch this. This is for the identity so that you can create the login and stuff. Don't touch that. Don't touch this except for the URL. I'm just repeating all this so that it's like it's in your head. But that's all you got to do is just create your pages, add your little front matter block, and just go and fill in the data and just work. This should save you a lot of time. And with the blog, it's gonna make your clients happier, because a lot of times they're working with SEO people or marketing agencies, and they want to be able to get in there and make their posts and control what the URL is and all these things. And back in the day, I'd have to just manually copy and paste the template and fill in all the text myself in HTML and push it live. So it was all manually done, and then I just got irritated with it because I started getting more and more blog clients, and they keep sending me stuff, and I don't want to do it. So I reached out online and found a guy who walked me through this, and we built this together because he also wants to use it. So we built this for you so that you don't have to, because I tried watching a couple of videos to do this by myself, and I wanted to bang my head against the wall. It didn't do exactly what I wanted, and I couldn't make it they didn't tell me everything, like how to import an existing site or how to make a new one. It's just like, here's how to create a blog. I'm like, okay, well, what's the rest? So I said, screw it, I'm just gonna, I built the rest and I put it up here for everyone just to have. So literally all you have to do is, put in your pages, put in your CSS, put in your images and your assets, um, and make sure your pages follow this format. Fill in your base, fill in your header and footer, and then you go to Netlify, hook it up to the GitHub, go to the identity tag, enable identity, and follow the other. You have to do 3 things in identity. You have to check 3 boxes or whatever, and you're done. That's it. You don't have to do any of the other configurations like we did. We configured this, we did that, we configured this, we configured this. We did everything for you, so you don't have to, and you don't need to think about it. All you need to do is just worry about this. This is your thing. This is what you do. You just do this and these guys, just like I said. And this will work. That'll just work. So this is just the overview video, just to explain everything and kind of show you what's going on in here. And the next video that's also going to be linked in the README, I'm going to show you how to take an existing website with a blog that I already. This is a real one. It's a real client of mine that has a static blog that I mentioned earlier, and we're going to take that and we're going to convert its entire file structure into this. But and we're just going to we're going to download this, copy and paste everything inside of here. You don't try to add this to a project. You insert your project into this. Like, you take your files and you put them in the pages. You take your CSS from that project, you put them in the CSS. You just fill everything in, and then just make sure that all of your images and your links, like your pathways, if it was just /images/image.jpg, you've got to just do a find and replace and make sure that it says /assets, because they're now in an assets folder. That's just how it has to work in this structure. So I'm gonna wrap this one up, and I'm gonna do that video as well, and I'm gonna show you step by step exactly how to convert a current project into this, so that you can use the blog. And even if it'll be great, because even if you don't have a blog, like if you have a client site that you just want to throw in here and use the blog, like maybe they want a blog, but you don't want to, it's really hard to configure yourself. So you just download this and insert all your files, and I'll even show you that it's just, you don't have to touch the blog. It's just there and it works. So we're gonna get to that video. That's where all the good stuff is. So hopefully this entices you enough to be like, all right, let's watch that other video and see what's going on here. But yeah, I highly recommend watching the next video and really understanding how this works, because this is how I'll be working now from now on. When I build my client sites for Oak Harbor Web, this is exactly how I'm going to do it. And I'm doing it this way because right now it is the best way to do it. And if you really want to like step up your game and add more value to your service, and have this custom blog that a client can edit themselves without needing WordPress or a database, and it's all just static, this is it. I mean, you can watch 100 tutorial videos on how to do it yourself, but I mean, we did that, and we watched some videos, and we still had to keep read documentation and do extra steps that were not inside those videos. And that's why I made this. It has all those extra steps. You don't need to spend hours and hours watching and practicing. Just download this, follow the workflow process, and it's done for you. So I hope you guys find some value in this. I hope it's worth it, and I hope you like it, and I hope it makes your lives as easy as it is making mine right now. Like, I am so excited to have this new thing. Like, I've been doing HTML and CSS for a long time, and it usually takes a lot to get me to change to do something else because I'm a purist. I just want to do HTML CSS. And I was like, why do I need a static site generator? It's just easier if I do it this way. Well, I want it. It starts from a need. Like you want to learn. It's easier to learn when you want to do something. Like we have this problem or this goal, and you want to solve it. It's so much easier because you have a drive. It's not just like learning just to learn. It's learning because I have to do this or I'm in trouble. So, God, I'm gonna keep ranting. So yeah, hey, thanks for watching this. Thanks for making it this far. Thanks for listening. And I'll see you guys in the next video where I show you exactly how to use this when you download it. So, thanks. Okay, just a quick little clip. Did a little cut. So